Welcome to the Parker Podcast Collection.
I suck, you suck, I suck at Call of Duty. You suck. You suck. You suck.
Welcome to the Not Playing Podcast. My name's Rob Howard, and this week I'm joined by
Ian Bruce,
Patrick Cale,
and Marcus Hurley.
So, there's been some VR stuff going on. They just actually released this Star Wars thing as part of Star Wars Celebration at the weekend, I guess. So this is just now on Steam now, and you can download it.
Just went out on Steam yesterday. Played it yesterday. It's super short. It's like 5 minutes long.
Right.
It's more of like a kind of interactive experience than a game. Although it is interactive, you have to do some bits in it. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Millennium Falcon lands at your feet. That's amazing. A panel thing comes down and you have to kind of fix it. You have to press loads of buttons. R2-D2 comes out, gives you a lightsaber, and then you have to have basically defend the Millennium Falcon from stormtroopers. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It got really bad. Well, it got like 60% or something on Steam. People are complaining that it's too short and stuff. It's a free tech demo, and it's, you know what I mean. It's like I think if you go into it with the right attitude, it's awesome. I had a big grin on my face playing it, these things and all things really in VR, it's about how much you put into it. Like if you expect to have an immersive experience just dished up to you onto a plate without you putting yourself into it, you don't understand how they've been designed. Like you kind of have to, go with the flow. You have to pretend it's real, and you're going to get a lot more out of it. The Millennium Falcon is smaller than I thought it was. It's really weird to see it to scale. It's not the size I thought it was.
If that's the right scale, though.
Well, you'd presume like an official LucasArts app would get the correct scale, though.
Yeah, sure. It also had the cubes from Portal in it, so I'm not entirely sure. Maybe they were.
The what?
It's also got the cubes from Portal in it.
Huh?
Has it?
Yeah. If the Falcon is to your 2 o'clock in front of you, at your 9 o'clock, there's some rubbish on the side with the cubes from Portal on it.
Oh, I see. It's like a little reference.
Yeah, just a Easter egg. Easter cube.
Easter cube.
Yeah.
If you could be bothered to look that way.
I didn't notice that. But yeah, it is cool. It was cool. It is what it was.
But you had a go of it as well, Ian?
Yeah, I was tweetering the ILM folks saying, when's it going to be ready? When's it going to be ready? Waited until 6 yesterday, didn't drop at 6. Everybody started going home. It dropped at 8 minutes past 6, so we downloaded it at work and had a go.
Cool.
I think my problem with it was I wasn't the biggest Star Wars fan in the room, so I let the guy who was go first, and that meant I could see on the preview screen what he was seeing. So by the time I got there, I'd kind of seen it all already, but not in VR.
Right.
Which is my failing.
Maybe that's why you
as
found
a
the
VR
Portal
noob,
stuff.
Apparently. Yeah. But I did it after him, and then we had a brief chat about it. And the consensus really was the lightsaber stuff, because there's troopers firing lasers at you, and you have to deflect them with the lightsaber. And I've been thinking about this overnight. In the movies, that looks awesome, because you can see the stormtrooper in one place firing these flashy laser bolts at somebody else in a different place, and it's all bouncing off everywhere, and woohoo, yeah! But when those bolts are coming towards you, and you're doing this kind of ninja chopstick thing with a lightsaber, first of all, you can't really see them when they're coming directly at you, because you get the end of the laser bolt, which is a little bit... Oh, well, you would really, wouldn't you? And perhaps because it is a tech demo and it's supposed to be an experience, it's like they're being dragged by a snail towards you. It's extremely... Oh, I'll just get my 3-year-old child who can probably do it as well as I can just by waving the lightsaber around. So I do appreciate it for what it is. I thought they used photogrammetry for the landscape, I think, and that looked really, really good. I like the Falcon, I like the droid and the basic interaction-y bits. But I think I have a problem, and I've actually had this for a long time now. Anything that tries to make you feel like you've got a lightsaber, like the Jedi Knight games and other stuff, I think lightsaber stuff only works when you're watching other people do it. So I really enjoyed that my mate at work, because he was both hands and he was doing all the stuff with it. But otherwise, it felt like I wasn't watching Tekken, I was trying to be in Tekken, and obviously I'm never going to be in Tekken, so it was just a bit waving your arms around doing stuff, and it just... I don't know. Rogue One needs to come along.
I tell you what I think about sword fighting in general and like lightsaber fighting in general in VR. It needs the game to incentivize proper movement.
Yes.
And if it doesn't have that, it kind of falls apart. Like the experience kind of falls apart, and it becomes this lightweight glowing chopstick.
Yeah.
Like the best one I think that's done it so far is Vanishing Realms. It makes you have to have a certain amount of swing when you strike an enemy, and that means that you always do these really intentional kind of sword-like movements.
Yeah, and that's precisely the thing. It missed choreography.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just kind of flailing this thing around like you've got a wasp buzzing around your head. And the saber looks good, and the sounds are good, and the little delay, the tracer after it and stuff, all looks great. But without any guidance as to how, right, if you stand like this and just do the poses and shit, you're just waving your arm around like a bit of a dick.
It needs a more sophisticated experience built around it, definitely. And I think even the kind of third party lightsaber game that someone released for a couple of quid is better at being a lightsaber game. And
I was just something you said there about having guidance and doing things with it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've been around when I'm sure you've discussed the Brookhaven experiment, right? Have you?
I played that for 2 minutes.
I think you mentioned it, Ian, actually.
Oh, right, okay. Back. So I liked that because it gave you a torch and a gun, and if you've watched enough cop movies, you could do that with the gun. I'm doing the one arm resting on your wrist that's holding the torch.
Yeah.
Many people didn't, but some people did. And you could either kind of flail around with the gun and do stuff, or you could do the... And I really liked that. But this was... Here's a light... I felt like the guy at the end of Force Awakens, before he'd gone, oh, now the script says I know how to use a lightsaber. But I'm interested to see what they do with it. I think something... Yeah. I understand why everybody's hating on it. It's not really fair. I'm sure it won't stop them from producing something full-sized and a proper experience with it. They are doing Star Wars Disneyland VR stuff for the Millennium Falcon over there, so they'll crack on and people will love it. But I'd like to see something... I'm not really sure we're at the point where these kind of tech demos really have any value. It felt like something to get a LucasArts or a Disney, whatever it is, lightsaber game out with the actual assets that could be used, although Battle of Endor uses assets, kinda. It was okay. It was just okay.
See, when I first heard this described, like, I think Jeff Knart went on it at CES or something and said, like, this must be running on some kind of, quadruple, quad-core, like,
it was originally,
supercomputer.
They did scale it down to release it publicly.
So it's right. So
it was originally
scaled down,
running on like either dual Titans or dual 980 Ti's or something like that. So yeah, they did scale it down quite a bit to release it publicly. I think you can still run it in that mode. I think there's a high res mode that you can run it in. But it still looks pretty good in normal mode. I haven't tried the high end thing.
Unskippable crawl at the start was a little bit tedious, having watched it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a general thing with VR recently. Oh, really? I guess if there's a number of you waiting to do it, and you're looking at the monitor, you're spoiling it for yourself by seeing what they're seeing.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to have skipped stuff, definitely. And it took us about 5 minutes to figure out you need to push the controller through the play button at the start.
Oh, right.
It's not working. The controller's not plugged in. It hasn't got any battery. What's going on?
To be fair, if guys who design
Shush,
VR
no,
experiences
shush.
miss that, they haven't done a very good job at designing the UI.
Yeah.
Because if you have to explain UI, it's not
Yeah.
good.
Well, we just both stood there looking at it, we changed controllers.
No, I did the same thing.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on here?
Oh dear.
But that's because it was made quite a long time ago. Like, so many people have fixed that problem now, haven't they? So many people have made cool, quirky ways of starting the experiences.
It could have been worse. It could have been like a bulkhead, and you had to put the lightsaber in and actually cut your way through.
That would have been amazing.
Well, that would have been... You can put the lightsaber in the ground, and it leaves a nice little...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You've cut it. I mean, the delay on that is not very long, so it goes away quickly. But I did kind of manage to draw cock and balls with it, which was quite good.
It's got to be done.
Absolutely, always got to be done. Done it in Tilt Brush, done it in this.
I played through so many things. I'm just going to fire through a couple of little things I played.
Go on.
So just quickly, it's not really a game, but Vivespray, so good. It's just a graffiti simulator. So it gives you just a blank wall, and you have a spray can in one hand, and in the other hand you have the palettes. You can change the colours, and you can save it, or you can reload a previous save, or you can take screenshots, whatever. It's not a game, but it sort of is. It's playing, it's playing with paint. It's basically a physics simulator of spray paint. Really cool. I love doing art stuff, and I don't really do that much as an adult, so it's nice to have something that I can just sort of stick on my head and just immediately just do some cool spray paint, or just draw a dick butt on a wall, whatever it is. It's just a really cool thing, and it made me think. There's definitely potential game ideas in that mechanic as well. I thought it'd be cool to have a game in a kind of cyberpunk future where you've got propaganda that you've got to spray over or something like that. There's so many kind of cool things you could do with going around a city and spray painting on stuff and avoiding the police or whatever.
Stuff.
Yeah, that's going to be a cool VR game when someone makes something like that.
You could do that in the Warriors game.
Really?
Rockstar
Really?
they've made a whole because it was all about you'd be in a fight.
Yeah.
And you'd start spraying, and then some dudes would be like, "Hey, what you doing?" And it would be about trying to get the tags up before you got into a fight.
Definitely, yeah. Someone's got to make a game like that. It's a cool idea. Another thing I played was The Nest, which is like a sniper game, and it's very kind of arcadey, I guess. But it's you're in this tiny little room, and you've got one window, and you're holding the sniper. It's a one controller game. You only have one controller in it, and you're holding the barrel with both hands. So you basically hold the handle as you normally would, and then you sort of rest the large part of the vibe on your other hand to kind of get an even better balance. Some people are putting them on tables or on actual physical objects to get them more stable. But you essentially just take out these squads of robots, and there's two levels. There's a daytime and a nighttime one. Very, very simple, but quite difficult to do, and difficult to get high scores in at least. But yeah, cool little sniper game. One of the gems I played this week, I haven't put that much time into it, but it's definitely worth a mention, is Rec Room. And Rec Room is basically like Wii Sports for VR. You go into this kind of crazy, cartoony, colourful kind of gym, and you're immediately sort of met by other players. I think it has a maximum of 10 players at the moment, and it's very similar to the pool game. I've totally forgotten the name of it that I've been playing recently.
It reminded me of a game I brought up on here ages ago that was nothing to do with VR, but it was it had that weird graphics.
What
one?
The Russian doll thing? Was that?
No, it was I'll carry on. I'll think of it.
Well, it's basically So basically, my point is, it's immediately a social experience. As soon as you get in, like there's people chatting and mucking and throwing things about, and you've got this huge gym, and there's loads of different games you can play. So there's like ping pong tables. So you can play a game of ping pong just up against a wall or with another player. There's darts and, silly things like that. There's a little changing room where you can change your avatar and you put on like silly clothes, like silly hats and ties and stuff like that. But the main part of the game is that once you've got a group together in this space, you then go out and do these kind of sporting events together. And I did like kind of several. So it's not only sporting events. I mean, there's like charades as well. So you're playing that on stage to these other players, and that's kind of crazy. But I did dodgeball. So I was playing dodgeball with a bunch of American guys, and they're just physically throwing these balls at each other and trying to duck out the way and not get hit. Hilarious.
That does look fun.
Massive amounts of fun, really funny. It's got these little movie cameras all over the place, and you can pick them up and you can record little GIFs of the other players playing and then like upload them onto the server. Another game we played was like disc golf, like frisbee golf. So each player has a frisbee, and then you have to like hit a target. And like halfway through the course, like one of the players went off into this little bar that's on the side and starts like pouring everyone drinks and stuff. It's just like a massive amount of fun. But it's exactly the same thing as that pool game, that Pool Nation VR. It's like, oh, this is the future of social media. This is what Facebook is going to be. This is entirely what kind of online social media is gonna feel like in the future. Like that's absolutely what this game is showing you, basically.
Ready Player One.
So Ready Player One, yeah. But it's cool again, and it's kind of like the Pokemon thing. It forces you to have conversations with people you would never have conversations with, and like throw balls at each other's faces at the same time. But, it is a cool thing. I think it's a really cool thing that I don't know. Part of me worries that this is just the golden era of VR, and once it becomes mainstream, then it becomes a big cesspool, and it's like everything else, and you get people being abusive and stuff. But a part of me wants to be naive and hope that that's not the case, and it's going to stay like this forever, because all these games are just full of really like decent people being nice to each other and like just getting on. I hope that lasts. I really do. But at the moment, it's a really nice thing to be around, like to just be experiencing these things, like for the first time with complete strangers, and to see other people's reactions as they play things and stuff. It's like it's a game in itself. Like it's very cool.
This has been the Not Playing Podcast in partnership with notlistening.co.uk, where you can also hear myself and Ian talk about movies and TV on the Not Watching Podcast.
And Marcus.
And Marcus as well. And Adam, Ash and Will talk about all manner of funny things on the Not Listening Podcast. You can email us at notplayingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet at or follow us on Twitter at notplayingpod. You can find the show notes for this show at notlistening.co.uk. And if you're listening to us on iTunes, then please do give us a review. 5 stars will help us. That's all for now. Thanks for listening. See ya.
My friend, I'm inclined to agree, 'cause I suck. I suck.